To be where I am today, it was all because of that 800. That I just said, this is the money I'm going to use to start my business.
Entrepreneurship has proven to be the most unpredictable career paths with highs and lows that can change one's life incessantly. But what happens when the lows are stronger than the highs and you are forced to stop and face the music? Well, today we find out from businessman Hilary Chibanda how he found his true calling of restoring pianos after he lost his first business. Hello, my name is Pule Mulebati. Without any further ado, let's get straight to it.
The piano is one of the most complicated musical instruments ever created, consisting of thousands of moving parts. It's no surprise that it requires constant repair, tuning, and adjustment. And in KwaZulu-Natal, deep in the Midlands, there's this young man who's considered to have a rare gift of restoring pianos even much older than himself. Meet Hilary Chibanda.
I was born in Zimbabwe in 1983, and then in 2006 I came to South Africa, and when I came to South Africa I met a friend who was already into pianos, and he asked me to help him with his pianos. He runs a business, it's Midlands Piano Services, and that's where I did my apprenticeship in pianos in 2008. And from there I fell in love with the pianos.
He tried to venture into different industries, but he was never fulfilled.
I didn't have joy. It was just strenuous. I was always depressed because the job was depressing to me. I didn't enjoy the job, you know. But comparing it to what I'm doing now, it's totally different. With piano, it's a passion. I'm passionate about pianos. I love pianos. After high school, I went to start my own business in Zimbabwe. I was into financial microfinance. I was giving out loans to all civil servants in Zimbabwe. I had a company that was licensed to give loans to civil servants. But then because of the inflation in Zimbabwe, the business was no longer viable. And I thought to myself, no, it's no longer worth doing. And also having lost so many millions, of course, because they had frozen all monies that was in the bank. They froze everything, so we lost out everything, and by so doing I had to close the business and come to South Africa.
And when he moved to South Africa, he found his passion and has been growing since.
I met a friend who was already into pianos, and he asked me to help him with his pianos. He runs a business, it's Midlands Piano Services, and that's where I did my apprenticeship in pianos in 2008. He taught me everything that I know in piano right now, and then it got to a time where my business was very quiet. 2008 or 2009, I think, there was a recession. I think, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, 2009, 2010, there was a recession and things were not good business-wise for him. And he wasn't getting any work, so he asked us to look for other jobs. But because I was in love with pianos, I wanted to continue with pianos, so I had to look for a job at Lonas Pianos. That's where I went in 2010 to work there as a piano technician. But then, when I went there, I was already a piano technician. I was now qualified to do so many things on piano.
With the knowledge he had gained, he then decided to start his own company, Piano Technologies.
It got to a point whereby people wanted me to do their piano sideways. Like they asked me to do restorations for them because going to the firm, it was expensive for them. And they understood I did the job. So they came to me and they said, would you be able to do some work for us? And I did, which didn't sync well with my employer. And then we parted ways because of that. And then from there, because piano has always been my passion, restoring piano has always been a passion to me, I decided now is the time to start restoring pianos, to start my own business. But it wasn't an easy journey. I did have the understanding of how to fix pianos. I had the knowledge, but I didn't have finance. Yes. So this business that we see today, I built it based on faith, and I also built it because I had the knowledge on to work with pianos, and also because it's something I loved. So the last money that I had in my account was 800 Rand. So I went to an auction, I bought a piano there, a piano which was bad, very bad. It was called a Caro Otto, which is made in Germany. I'm sure it's Germany, yes. I fixed that Caro Otto, I restored it, I polished it, did everything on the piano, and then I put it back on the market because it was now beautiful. So many people fell in love with it to the extent that I got a buyer. I sold it for 15,000. And then when I sold it, that was my money to start the business. I went on to buy other pianos, restored them, and put them back onto the market. And that I've been doing ever since I left Lona's Pianos. And to be where I am today, it was all because of that 800. That I just said, this is the money I'm going to use to start my business.
Piano Technologies is now up and running, and Chibanga's clients also include well-known former cricketer Sean Pollock and rugby player Beast Mtawarira. This is what the company actually does.
We take old pianos, we restore them. When they are old, they're not looking good, the cabinet is ugly because the painting, the polish wears out with time and it looks ugly. So we do the cabinet, we strip it down, we sand it, and we put new varnish onto the piano. Also into the mechanism of the piano, which is a piano action, we also strip it down, we take it into pieces. We unscrew every piece of the piano there. We've got dampers, we've got hammerheads, we've got movements on an upright piano. We've got those three things, and we unscrew all of them. Some of them we have to change damper felts, you have to change center pins, you have to do or concentrate on the hammerhead, the shape of the hammerhead. Because it's been striking on 3 strings with time, you have to remove those lines from the string because the sound, it tarnishes the sound of the piano with time. So we have to remove them, and the process by which you do that is called refacing. So we reface the hammerheads as well.
He is able to determine whether or not the piano needs adjustment or tuning simply from listening to the tone of the instrument, and all this requires time.
It's a process that really takes time because you're doing everything one by one. Yes. So it's a process roughly in a piano factory, they take something like a month or 2 weeks, roughly minimum, is the time you can take to do a restoration, considering that you're doing the cabinet, you're doing the action, and then from there the tuning comes. So it's something minimum you can take 2 weeks, and then to a maximum of a month.
He works closely with a skilled technician.
His name is Tashi. He's also from Zimbabwe. He's an apprentice. He's also in love with pianos and is eager to learn about pianos. I've employed him.
And a blind piano tuner with remarkably talented ears and a perfect pitch.
He helps me with the tunings because I never did piano tuning when I did my apprenticeship. So Brenton comes in when it comes to the part of tuning pianos. He's the one who does go and tune the pianos for me. So those are the people I'm working with.
Meet piano tuner Brenton.
I was actually born with congenital cataract in 1967. I had a few operations in an attempt to try and remove it, but with very limited success. And then my last eye operation I had was in Tygerberg Hospital in the Cape in 1981, but that was for glaucoma. So the cataract was inherited from my father's side and the glaucoma from my mother's side. I've got 30% sight on my left eye and no sight at all on the right eye.
Chibanda and Brenton have been working closely together for some years now.
I met Hilary through Lona's Pianos. At the time, he worked for Lona's Pianos in 2011. And yes, I went to tune a few pianos for her. And this is where, at that time, Hilary was doing the technical work and regulating and all that sort of thing. So I engaged a lot with him on, like, while I'm tuning, if there's anything, any glitches, then I used to call him and he would, like, correct it. It's been very uplifting, and you know, I discovered him as actually a very hardworking and a person with quite a bit of, you know, quite a lot of confidence. So yes, so anything I know, you know, Lona would tell me if there's anything wrong. If VJ isn't there, you could use Hilary or whichever way, you know. But Hilary was always close by when I needed any help or anything. I'm actually a tuner that actually you know, I do freelance work I used to do for Lona's, and then when Hilary started his business, I also do freelance there. I've actually been trained by a school in Cape Town, and I started off there in Cape Town, and I worked in Johannesburg. I've been, like, you know, all over South Africa since the completion of my training. So along my way, you know, my paths crossed with these various people. To tune a piano is actually to, you know, to get its strings to sound at certain pitches so that it makes musical sense. So in other words, if you know, as I say, I'll show you the practical side. But tuning a piano, if a person asks me, when does a piano actually sound in tune? We've learned that a piano sounds in tune when its strings vibrate at certain frequencies determined by acoustical and mathematical laws. Now that sounds a little bit of a whole technical jargon, but that's what it is. You need a trained ear and a bit of technical ability, and you know how to manipulate the tuning lever on the tuning pins, so that you tune the strings in relation to each other, the intervals. I used to always listen to my father and them playing guitar, because they played in a band, you know. And I actually, you know, when he plays the chord D on the guitar, some way or the other I could find the fundamental note that forms that chord. And I just sort of developed it from there. I used to listen a lot to songs on the radio, and I just associate a note with something, you know, some undescribable thing within me. And then when I got to school, I saw this thing called a piano, and I started playing the notes, and it just hit me like that. And you know, when the teacher told me that's a D, then I sort of planted it into my head. Okay, that's what the D would sound like, and it stayed in my head. And from there, I just started distinguishing notes from notes and notes. You know, from if you play a C, what is the third note from C? For instance, it will be your E. You know, like that. So I could like distinguish mentally. I could distinguish pitches from each other, and that's what actually helped me to actually determine, you know, to actually that I've got perfect pitch. So it's been a history of, you know, the perception that blind people can only do basket work. I mean, my previous generation, my father and mother and them were all, you know, it was a thing that you either are trained in switchboard or basket work, and that is the limitations, you know, with a blind person. Which actually was discovered is not, you know, it's not the case really, because in Worcester, in the former, in the apartheid years in Worcester, guys were already trained there as piano tuners, because technicians they came from England, and you know, they started training, and they even discovered that blind people can actually, because you don't need, you need your ear. And if you got a good ear and you're not tone deaf, you can actually learn to tune a piano. So a lot of my, a lot of the guys that were trained in Worcester that time at the blind school also, are now actually quite, elderly people, and many of them have passed away. And, they started encouraging that we train, that they train younger people.
Brenton has never at any point allowed his blindness to make him feel there are things that he cannot achieve.
To me, the only disability that one has in life is the lack of a will to succeed. That's all I can actually say. In other words, you must, as Hillary says, you must push yourself. You must be able to say, I can do it. Those words, I can do it, if you really believe in it, it can actually happen. It can actually happen. There's a guy, a singer by the name of he was also a jazz pianist and a very, well-known international musician, George Duke. He looked at this keyboard instrument, but it had like a guitar thing. And his mother took him to a concert, and he saw this instrument. And he says to his mother, I can play that thing. And a few years later, his mother bought him a piano, and he became one of the world's best musicians.
Hillary is committed to providing exceptional service in every area of piano care, and this has earned him the respect and loyalty of his clientele all over the country. His work also includes delivering pianos to his clients.
Involves lots of traveling, lots of driving, and then you still have to get to the customer's house and do the work, So it's hectic, but at the end of the day, it has to be done. So yeah, we do drive long hours, we get to clients, we talk to the clients, we assess their pianos, we look inside, we have to open the piano inside and see where it needs attention. And then we tell them, look here, your piano is like this and that, needs this done to it. And then we tell them it's gonna cost this amount for it to be a proper piano. And from there, they decide whether they want us to do the job or not, or they don't have the money, and we take it from there. Ever since I've been in the piano trade, I've never had a piano that I had to go and get because there is something wrong. Because what we do is we try as much as possible that before it leaves the workshop, it has to be very good, 100% good, because all that now, when you go back to the customer and do it, now costs you money. You see, you have already done it, you quoted the customer, you can't say, I'm going to charge you again because of this and that. So we try as much as possible to make sure that the piano is 100% good. We check, we test it, we play it, we check everything to see that it's 100%. Of course, I know it can happen that you've delivered a piano, something does happen. Like, for example, I delivered a piano last week in Hilton, and after we delivered, the client called me to say there is a sticking note. It's not a major thing, it's just the bushing, because we had put new bushing felts and it just had gone tight because of change of weather and all these changes of weather.
He has also had a chance to showcase some of his work at well-known exhibitions.
I was exhibiting at the Royal Show in Pietermaritzburg. Yeah, we were at the Agricultural Royal Show and everything went very well. And we got lots of work. We were advertising our piano. We were advertising what we do as piano technologies. We were talking to our clients. Some of them, we've had those clients ever since day one we started the business. We've been tuning their pianos, we've been repairing their pianos, and we were talking to them. We were telling them the business is going on, and also we had to get other people who also need the same services, and they were coming to our stand and asking that we should come and fix their pianos.
He also gets to travel with his tuner to tune pianos at clients' homes.
I am satisfied. But it's not only about money. It's about what I love. For me, it's about what I love. Because for me, it's pointless for me to go and have a job that has got lots of money, but I'm not happy. Yeah, for me, it's something that brings joy to me. So it's not only about money. For sometimes I've come across clients who've got pianos. I can see the client really need to fix their piano, but they don't have money. At times I've said to them, look here, I'm going to fix your piano, because I can see that passion, that they really want the piano working, but they are disadvantaged financially. Not that I do have money, but it's just a feeling that I feel that, no, they need it, but they don't have money. At times I just say to them, because I love what I do, I just say to them, look, I'm going to fix your piano for you. And I fix it for them. They just go. It's not always about money at the end of the day.
He shared his biggest dream.
My dream is that one day I become a piano builder. That's one of my goals. I want to build my own piano. Yeah, if I do get an opportunity, I would love to go out there and learn how they build a piano. Yes, and it's good to have a piano builder here in South Africa as well. Yeah, and so for me, if I do get to that point where I can build a piano here in Africa, for me, that means a lot. I want to get there and also impart that same knowledge that I have received from others. I also want to impart that same knowledge to other people so that this trade may not die. Yes, this trade, for me, it brings out the best. It brings out all the joy in me. So I feel in order for us as technicians, as people who work with pianos, we need to impart that same knowledge to other people. People like Tashi. One day also we want to see them grow and start their own things. And also I've always believed in something like whereby we create opportunities. Yes, by working with our hands. If you look in nowadays, most people, they want to be specializing in office work. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but whereby we don't have technicals. We need also people who do technical things so that we can do other things with our hands. You can work with your hands and you can earn a living from working from your hand.
And his message is very simple.
It's not good for you to stay in your discouragement. You've got to rise up and do something. For as long as you stay down, you're not going to change your situation. So you need to rise up, you need to forget. Yes, whatever has happened in your life, you might have been discouraged, you might have gone through all kinds of hardships. Whatever has happened, but it happened for a reason. But you don't need to stay down. You need to rise up again. You need to gather your strength.
A quote by Kenneth Miller says the piano is able to communicate the subtlest universal truths by means of wood, metal, and vibrating air. And you, Hillary, make those sounds possible and make musical sense. And for that, Stories Untold salutes you.
And on that musical note, we pause things here for today. Join us again next week, same time, same place. Thank you for watching. Until then, goodbye.